You feel like you're doing everything right when it comes to the diet, eating chicken, salads, rice, broccoli, fruits, vegetables, all the good stuff, having smoothies in the morning, but you find yourself hungry all the time. So what the hell is actually going on? Why you feel hungry all the time if you are eating well and eating clean? The thing is that clean eating doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be very filling. What normally happens is if you're trying to lose weight and eat clean, you reduce your portion sizes and you start eating things like a lot of salads. And for me personally, I just cannot fill myself up. If I would eat like a chicken salad, I would just get hungry within 15 minutes. And that's quite a normal thing. What you have to understand that when it comes down to keeping yourself full while you're dieting, it's more about the volume of the food that you're having, because we have to fill our stomach up. And by reducing the portion sizes, you're just not filling that glass that we could call stomach. What our body cares about is nutrients and how quickly the food is being digested. And if you're eating low portions and that's a quick to digest food, you will find yourself being hungry all the time. So probably you're asking yourself what you should be eating to keep yourself full and satiated. Number one thing, it comes down to eating adequate amounts of protein, because protein takes a long time to digest, so it keeps you full for longer. And it also helps you to provide building blocks for your body. Having enough protein helps you to repair the gut, repair any cells that break down through just normal day-to-day processes. Protein is great for slowing digestion, and you should aim for 30 to 40 grams each meal. So the way I would like to think about it is this is like an anchor for your ship. If you don't build your meal around a good amount of protein, you will just simply feel hungry. So if you would drop an anchor in your ship, it would hold you in place. It wouldn't be drifting away. I mean, it's probably not the best analogy, but I hope it makes sense. And to give you an idea, one of the ladies that trains here in my studio, called Fiona, she was not eating enough protein, and me and her son, who's into fitness, we just been pushing her to eat more protein, and she stopped being hungry all the time. And what she was saying to me, it was extremely hilarious. I was like, Fiona, you need to eat more protein. And she's like, I can't, I'm still full from yesterday. So it's really filling. Once you start eating the right amount of protein, you will find yourself quite full, because it takes a long time to digest. And this is a good thing. Another thing is that you're skipping fiber and high volume foods. Fiber also slows down the digestion. It helps to feed your gut microbiome and generally helps to clean your body. And I mean, fiber is great. We need to eat roughly 35 grams of fiber per day. A lot of people are not meeting that need, but yeah, like you have to eat a lot of fiber if you want to slow down the digestion, and you have to focus on high volume foods. The foods that normally high in fiber are lentils, oats, beans, vegetables. Broccoli is a good example. You have berries like strawberries and blueberries, and raspberries is very high in fiber as well. So these type of foods can be really good to increase your fiber intake. We also need to focus on higher volume foods. So for example, if you're making a stir fry, adding mushrooms would be a good idea, assuming that you like them, because mushrooms are extremely low in calories and they're high volume food, so you can kind of bulk up that meal. That will help you to fill you up. And that applies to many vegetables, really, because most of the vegetables are low in calories. If you would add some carrots in your stir-fry, paprika, well, peppers, whatever you prefer calling it, that could also bulk up that meal. But I'm also not trying to say that you should only put vegetables in your stir-fry. I would still say have your noodles, maybe a little bit less of them, and bulk that meal up with some vegetables, or have some rice on the side. There's nothing wrong with that. What you really have to be careful if you're making something like stir fry is the amount of oil that you're adding, because that will bump up the calories. One more reason why you may be hungry all the time is because you're drinking your calories. So things like smoothies, juices, fizzy drinks, they can be calorie dense, but what happens is they just pass through the stomach. There's no fiber to slow the digestion down. You're just getting the sugar. And if we're talking specifically about juices and smoothies, they just end up spiking your insulin. Then when it drops down, like your blood sugar drops down, you start craving for food again. So those high sugar drinks and liquids, they don't really fill you up. So it's much better idea to just eat some fruit, or change the smoothie that you're having, add some protein. Just in the background, I just had a smoothie myself. So for example, my smoothie is semi-skimmed milk, frozen blueberries, a scoop of protein, and I add a bit of chia seeds. So it's becoming a complete meal, and I feel fairly full because I just probably chugged down 60 grams of protein in that meal. Plus I had some fats and fiber from chia seeds, some fiber from blueberries. If you're just having smoothies from the fruit, it will not have the same effect as having a protein smoothie milkshake that I just had. Protein slows down the digestion, and you should not be drinking sugar if you want to keep yourself full. And I know you may be thinking that juice is a good thing, but it's not that good, to be honest. And it's much better if you would be eating fruit than drinking juice. And I made that mistake in the past myself. I used to buy smoothies in Tesco, and at some point I just checked the label. It's like 60 grams of sugar in that smoothie. There's no protein. There's like 300 calories. And yes, it's good. You're getting like a lot of the 5 a day thing, but when it comes to filling yourself up, there is no value in that. And one more reason why you may be feeling hungry, it might not even be the hunger itself. You may just be dehydrated, especially if you get hungry in between meals. Sometimes our body just sends a signal as if you would be hungry, but all that is that you're a bit thirsty. And a good way to approach that, if you're feeling hungry, try to have a glass of water and wait 10 minutes and see if you are still hungry. If you happen to be thirsty, you will not be hungry 10 to 15 minutes later. But if you're really hungry, well, that hunger will kick back in. So then it means that you need to go for a proper meal. And if you're like me, who's sweating a lot through the training, I would also highly recommend to add some electrolytes to help you to stay hydrated. So to wrap this up, you don't really need to suffer and torture yourself in order to lose weight, because that's just simply not sustainable. If you're hungry all the time and every single time you see any piece of food you just want to eat, it's simply not sustainable. That's not how you want to go about your life. And look, I'm sharing that because I learned hard way, because I didn't know that high volume foods can help you to increase satisfaction. And at some point, the most stupid thing I've done, I was just having 3 cottage cheese smoothies through the day when I was trying to cut weight for Interclub. All that led me to is basically fainting in my Muay Thai training session following that 3 shake a day diet, which I don't recommend for anyone, but we all get to do some stupid things. But eventually I found that I can eat and fill myself up with the higher volume foods, like I said before, mushrooms. I like to snack on popcorn. Cook it yourself, don't add any oil, just a bit of salt, and you have a lot of popcorn. Most of the time I cannot even finish the amount that I cooked, and it's fairly low in calories, and it's also nutritionally valuable. But this video is not about the popcorn. It's about you eating more protein, more vegetables, and sometimes trying to see if you are thirsty rather than you're being hungry. So make sure that you are actioning on those few things that I mentioned in this video. And if you need some help with weight loss, check the link down below where you can lose a jean size in 30 days just by following my emails. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this one, so go and watch it and let me know down in the comments what struggles have you had with your diet.